Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my fellow cultivators. Welcome to another episode of Mind, Body, and Food. I am your host, Shahid, and today we're going to be talking about water. Now, on a previous video, I talked about the 5 fantastic benefits of drinking water, but on this video, we're going to talk about the 5 best types of water to drink. Now, when I go about picking waters, I look for 3 things. Number 1, I check where it's sourced from. Number 2, I check the pH balance. And number 3, the fluoride levels. I personally prefer it to be 0 or very small amounts parts per million. But to each their own. Now I'm going to go into a little detail about the 3 ways of how I choose water. The first one I mentioned was where that water is sourced from. Now if you're like most people, you may not have access to a fresh waterfalls that filters the water through rocks, or you may not have access to a fresh water well. So you're forced to drink water through either tap or through bottled water. Now, I prefer spring waters because Mother Nature has provided us with everything that we need. It has the proper amount of nutrients, minerals, and trace elements that the body requires to rehydrate itself. I do not prefer distilled water, purified water, or municipal water. Municipal water is water that is bottled within the city through the pipelines that undergoes the chemical filtration process that can also dilute the water and cause it to become a little bit more acidic, which comes and brings me to my next point, which is number 2, the pH level. Now, pH stands for potential of hydrogen. It works on a scale from 0 to 14. The closer you are to 0, the more acidic that solution is going to be. The closer you are to 14, the more basic or alkali that solution is going to be. Now, one thing that I like to highlight and promote on this channel is balance. It's not about perfection. So the best waters to consume with a pH balance of anywhere between 6.8 to 7.8, and that'll get your body hydrated to the levels without causing any type of issues. And for the record, some of your favorite beverages, sodas, pops, depending on where you're from in the United States, has a pH level of 2.5 to 3.5. Now, just to give a point of reference, the hydrochloric acid that our stomach secretes in order to help break down food has a pH level of 1.5 to 2.0. Highly acidic stuff. Now, here's my third point, fluoride. Now, fluoride has been a controversial topic for the past 60, 70 years, or probably even longer than that. There have been studies that show the accumulation of fluoride in the body can cause issues like skeletal fluorosis, which is a weakening of the bones. It can also cause hypothyroidism, which reduces your metabolism, and also can cause decalcification of the pineal gland, which inhibits your sleep and reduces the amount of melatonin. Now, on the other side, there have been studies that show that it can reduce cavities. So, at the end of the day, it's best for you to do your own research. I personally prefer not to use fluoride or products that contain fluoride inside. Now, with that being said, since we have a baseline of the type of bottled waters to consume, we're going to fly right through this video with the 5 best types of bottled water to drink. Number 5, Poland Springs. It's sourced from natural springs out in the northeast state of Maine. It has a pH level of 7.2 and it has fluoride levels from 0.0 to 0.2. And I know you might be wondering, well, I thought you said you prefer water that don't have no fluoride. And that's a great question. So here's a point of reference. Your natural surface water like your rivers, your lakes, and ponds has a fluoride level of 0.01 to 0.3 parts per million. Exactly what Mother Nature intended for it to be. So anything more than that can be considered excessive. Number 4, Fiji. Its natural spring water is sourced from artesian aquifers in the islands of Fiji. It has a pH level of 7.7 and a fluoride level of 0.02. Number 3, Zephyr Hills. Its natural spring water sourced from natural springs in the state of Florida. It has a pH level of 7.7 and has fluoride levels of 0.0 to 0.1 parts per million. Number 2, Aquapana. Its natural spring water is sourced from Tuscany, Italy, from the hills and mountaintops at about 800 meters above sea level. It has a pH level of 8.0 and has a fluoride levels of 0.0. And last but not least, number 1, Evian mineral water. It's sourced from the French Alps, high up in the mountains. It has a pH level of 7.2 and a fluoride level of 0.0. Now, before we get out of here, I'm going to share my thoughts on alkali water, because I know many of you may be wondering, well, what's wrong with drinking water that has a pH level of like 13 or 14? You know, ingesting alkali water on a regular basis is not recommended because it can dilute your stomach acid. Remember, your stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which breaks down your food. So if you're constantly drinking alkali water, it's going to make that acid less effective and you won't be able to digest your food effectively as you should. Well, my fellow cultivators, there you have it, the 5 best type of spring waters to drink. I hope this video was helpful and insightful for you, and I hope you learned a lot. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, we out of there.